Oh, hey, happy Friday. It's been a minute since we've done a proper coffee chat, sitting down, updating you on things. And as I sat down today to put together my moving vlog for our 3 weeks until the move, which 3 weeks, y'all. I realized I don't have a ton of content to share with you this week in terms of packing. I have pretty much finished my little initial to-do list of things, and the majority of my house is packed. Looking at this view that you see here, you may not know it, but if you open a cabinet or open a drawer or open a closet, things are packed. My garage is so full, you can barely walk in there. I've left a lot of decor out because I still need this place to feel like home for the next 3 weeks, both for me and for my kids. But we're trekking right along, and there wasn't a ton to do this week. In addition to that, I have to admit that my kids had theater camp this week, and it was the first week since May that I had time without my children in the house to accomplish things, and I was so busy trying to catch up on work that moving was one of the last things on my mind. So I don't have a ton to tell you in terms of packing. I do have a little bit to share with you, but not a ton. So I thought instead, maybe let's just sit down for a second and let's check in on how things are going and how things are feeling, because I've got a lot to say. Side note, I accidentally asked for a large tea today, and it's this is the most tea I've ever drank in one sitting. I thought I'd start by addressing some frequently asked questions about this move and how things are going. So number one question that I have been getting is, are the boys moving schools and are you getting closer to your best friend, Carissa? And the answer is yes and yes. So the boys are gonna be at new schools next year. Jackson he's going into middle school. So he was gonna be at a new school regardless, but he is not going to be attending the school that he was originally zoned for. Grant will be attending a new school. They both feel fine about it. I think Jackson is feeling a little more anxiety than Grant, but also he's heading into middle school, so he'd be feeling a lot of feelings no matter what. Grant tends to just roll with the punches. I think he probably will have some anxiety as we get a little closer, but he is a pretty adaptable kiddo and not afraid of a lot of things. So thankfully he is relatively unfazed and excited for his new school. So I feel really good about that. They start school less than 2 weeks from today. So we will have about a week and a half of having to drive them to their new school from this house, which is probably a 20-minute drive. So not really looking forward to that, but we're gonna survive it. And then yes, also I am getting closer to Carissa. I actually mentioned this week on Instagram that I drive to her house twice a week to work out. And currently it's about a 25-minute drive. Once I move, it'll be closer to a 15-minute drive. She lives in an area with a lot of traffic. No matter what time of day you are going over there, there's just a mind-boggling amount of traffic. So it's I think my new house is probably less than 5 miles from her, but it's still gonna take me 15 minutes to get there because traffic. Another frequently asked question is how are we feeling? Because if you've been following our journey, you will know that it has been a lot. We have been talking about this move since November of last year. That was when we started to plan. That was when we started to look at houses and start thinking about putting our house on the market. Our house officially went on the market in February. In March, early March, we went under contract. We immediately found a house, got under contract on that, and then about a week later, it all blew up. Buyer backed out, there was a lot of drama, and from the middle of March through the end of May, it was crickets and stress and tears and uncertainty and will we or won't we actually get to move. At the end of May, we finally went back under contract. Somebody agreed to purchase our house, but they couldn't close until the very end of the summer. So we had the whole summer stretching out in front of us. I felt really great about it at first because I thought, we could enjoy the last summer in this house, which is wonderful, and we could take our time with packing, and that's wonderful. But in reality, after all of the stress that we have had and all of the ups and downs that we have had, it has actually, it's been really stressful to kind of have this extended period of just sitting around and waiting. I think that I still have maybe some trauma from all of the things that happened, and there's still a piece of me that is terrified that it's all gonna fall apart, if I'm being really honest with you. But this house will not belong to us anymore in 3 weeks. There are no signs that it's going to fall apart, so I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling so ready for it to be here. People keep telling me 3 weeks is nothing, it's gonna go by so fast, you should be packing, you should be getting ready. And I'm like, 3 weeks feels like an eternity to me after thinking about this since March. It feels like so long. So I'm 0% stressed about packing. I feel like I still have all the time in the world. I'm a very efficient packer. I can get it all done very quickly. I hate wishing away time, but I need the time to go by just a little bit faster. Another FAQ is, what's the first thing you're gonna do in the new house? This is something I'm getting asked a lot, and I wish I had a clear answer for you. I can't say a ton without giving away which house we went with. And if you've been following along on our journey, you will know that I am not sharing anything about the house that we purchased until we have actually moved in. I will say that I think, just like with any move, when you first move in, there's a lot of settling that has to happen. So much of our furniture in this house is built in, so we're gonna have to buy some furniture and find some solutions for storage problems. There are some basic like upgrades and fixes and things that need to happen in the new house pretty quickly upon moving in, just like there are in any house. You've got to change the locks. You've got to do various things to make it your home. I really think that for a relatively extended amount of time, I'm going to be working on just some basic things around the house. And then I think my first priority is probably going to be getting my garage set up, because I have had a disaster in my garage for the last year, and it's made it really, really hard to get projects done. And I think that it's one of those things that if I can get the garage set up and looking nice quickly upon moving in, it's gonna set me up for success for everything else, because so much happens in there when I'm working on projects. So I think you can expect to see the garage being a priority pretty early on. Another thing I've gotten asked a lot is, what are you gonna miss the most about this house? And my answer every single time is all the natural light. We are very, very spoiled in this house to never have to turn on the overhead lights. I can count on one hand the number of times the overhead lights in this room have ever been turned on, and all of those times were an accident. Even if it gets to be nighttime, we'll turn on like those lights and we'll turn on some lamps, but these lights never get turned on. We have so much natural light in this house, and that is just a rarity for any house to be able to have this much light. I've got so many plants. They're all by windows. We have tons of giant windows. That's hard to find. I think I'm gonna miss that more than I miss anything else. I also think I'm gonna miss our neighborhood. We have a really special neighborhood. We really chose this home because of the neighborhood. And so I'm going to miss my friends and the kids' friends and just all of the things that we're so used to. It's gonna be such a shift. I'm excited to learn a new part of town and explore and meet new people. We're definitely gonna miss our little neighborhood, because it's been home to us for almost 6 years now, and we know people and we're comfortable here, and it's gonna be a shift, but we are excited. Okay, so if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments. Maybe we'll address them next week. But for now, let me show you the small amount of packing that I did do. And to wrap things up, I'm gonna take you on a little tour of how things are looking and what we have left to do. So let's take a little look in here. This drawer is where all of the random toys that my kids bring downstairs and don't want to bring back upstairs ends up going. So this is kind of an ever-changing landscape of toys, and a lot of them, y'all, it's junk. We've got a lei in here, and we've got a cardboard Happy Meal box and a sock. So a lot of this can just kind of be cleared out. I'm not gonna pack all of these toys because my kids are still playing with them, but I am gonna fully empty out this drawer, get rid of some things, and maybe pack some stuff that they aren't playing with on the regular. After about 10 minutes of work, look at this, y'all. So I took all of the like bigger toys and went ahead and packed them, and then I kept all the little toys out.
along with a couple bags that they were constantly using for various things. I put a little basket in here. I used to have baskets in here, but they never kept it organized, so that's why I got rid of them. But for now, I think this is gonna be really helpful. And then let's check out what's happening. This is the oh boy, video game drawer. At one point, this was incredibly organized, but as you can see, that hasn't stuck. So let's see what we can do about this. I'm not gonna be able to pack most of this because my kids still use it all the time, but I'm gonna see what I can do about at least organizing it a tad so it's easier to pack when the time comes. Okay, look at that, y'all. I didn't actually pack anything here. There was some trash in here, and then other than that, I just organized. So when it is time to pack, this is gonna be much easier, and I can officially call both of these drawers done. So with 2 days to go, I only have 2 items left on my list. So I need to do the upstairs game room and then finish up in the garage, which honestly, this is kind of just like ongoing right until we move. But I do want to spend a little more intentional time out there this week. So I think we're gonna make it. Let's take a peek in the garage so I can show you how full things are. So this is the current state of boxes in here. This back corner here has all been there since March, the first time we were moving. I don't even know what's back there anymore, if I'm being honest with you. So we've got all of our moving, this is like my moving central where I keep all of the moving supplies. A lot of this is stuff Corey is going through, so that still needs to be done. And then all of this is mostly finished. Probably do need to do a little bit more work out here, maybe in the next week to wrap up things here. But back in the house, if you open any closets, they're starting to look empty. This is empty for this closet, I promise you. Shelves in the laundry room have been emptied. The main part of the house still looks exactly as it always does because I'm not quite ready to let go of all of my decor yet. However, if you check out the bar cabinet, it has been fully emptied. And you saw me last week work on emptying out some of these cabinets. So things are looking much emptier over here. This is still stuff I use very regularly, but this cabinet was completely full. And now it's largely empty. So things are coming along. I think one of my biggest tasks yet is to do things like eat through the pantry because this is nowhere near empty and I don't want to bring all of this with me, y'all. So gotta do some pantry clearing out meals. Another space that hasn't really had a ton done yet is my bedroom. It's messy in here, so I'm not gonna take you all the way in, but my closet is packed up. It's mostly stuff we use all the time. I didn't make the bed this morning. That's embarrassing. And there's ketchup on my nightstand because I had lunch in here. I shouldn't even include this. That's embarrassing. So yeah, still a lot to do. I'm gonna sit down and make my master list, so I'll have that for next week. But that is the state of the house at 3 weeks to go.
So that's how things are looking at 3 weeks until the move. It's starting to feel very real. Opening the cabinets and seeing how empty they are is a little disorienting every single time, but it definitely makes the move feel a little more real. I think I'm gonna give it 1 more week before I really start taking down decor and making the house feel a little emptier because 3 weeks feels like a long time to live without all of my little creature comforts, but I think I can handle 2 weeks. So after next week, you'll probably start to see me do a little bit more actual taking down of decor and that sort of thing. I'm also gonna be sitting down to make a giant master list of everything that needs to happen. You've been following along with my small list on the fridge. Well, that list is done, and now it is time for something a little bigger and a little more detailed. So stay tuned next week to see how that turns out. Thanks for watching. Be sure to let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll catch you next week.